A big part to any game is progression, but with Starfield, it's a little bit more important. This is a game which has been advertised where you can create your very own story, go on your very own journey. But it's not just about deciding where you want to go and when, it's also how. What type of ship will you be using? What type of weaponry will you take along with you? What type of skills? What type of character have you built? All of this will have an impact on what goes on within your game. So in this video, we're going to go through absolutely everything that we currently know about the progression. So to begin with, when you first start up, you will go through character customization. Now your choices here don't really make too much of a difference, especially when it comes to the body type that you have by changing any of your facial features or even body features for that matter. You could have facial hair, tattoos, anything. And whatever you select here is not set in stone. It says this within the menu itself. You can visit a genetics facility to change your character's appearance. However, there are two things which are set in stone. This is your background and any traits that you select. Your background is the story of your character, where they come from and what skills do they have. And there is a number of different backgrounds that you are able to select, each of them having their very own benefits and will all unlock different types of content. For example, there are some backgrounds in here which will allow you to be a bit better in terms of dialogue. Your conversation skills are at a much higher level that you're able to persuade people to do other things that they wouldn't normally do or won't do if you selected one of the other types of backgrounds. These skills will stay with you and will also improve as time goes on. As for traits, they also provide a benefit, but they also provide a negative side. These traits are optional, however, you can have up to 3, and it really comes down to how much you want to take on at once. For example, there is a trait called Kid Stuff. By selecting this, you'll unlock additional content as your parents will still live at their home within game, and you can visit your parents whenever. Now the exact benefits from this, we're not too sure, but it does also mean that because your parents are still alive and well within the world, that's a negative side of this is that 10% of all money that you earn is automatically sent to your parents in a way for you to provide for them. And it has been said, although it hasn't been officially revealed on how we do this, but you will be able to take the negative side effects away from some of these traits, or even be able to make them not as harsh. So potentially 10% of your money could slowly fall down to 5%. Now with everything that we've just gone through, this is all just to set your character up. This is before getting into any of the core gameplay or main storyline. But this is where things get interesting. For a lot of players, the progression side of things will come down to 3 core components: story progression, credits, and then XP. Story progression is a simple one. You'll progress through the story and be rewarded with the narrative, the game's storyline. It has been revealed that the story length for Starfield will be 30 to 40 hours, but that is if you're going to go from main mission to main mission. Chances are you're going to spend a lot more time going through this game because there's going to be a lot of side quests and dynamic events and various other activities which will distract you. And with a lot of these, they also tie into the main story itself, but also will have their very own side stories. Side quests are not just going to be generic stuff which you'll need to go and fetch quest items. Although there may be some of those in there, there's also going to be a huge variety. As for credits, well, you're going to need money. The more money that you're able to bring in, the more things that you're able to buy, the better things that you're able to buy, and it'll also make your progression a bit more efficient. We already know, based on some of the gameplay clips that have already been revealed, especially from Starfield Direct, that certain activities can get very expensive, such as customizing your very own spaceship. Fun in itself, but some of these prices are ridiculous, going up to 600, 700,000, and these are ships which haven't got the best of gear. It's highly likely that some of the ships that you're able to build, depending on their size and dependent on the structures that you put in place, they could cost millions. How you get credits will be from a number of different activities: completing missions, completing dynamic events, looting, you name it, all the generic stuff. But another part of this game and the core gameplay loop in itself is for you to explore planets, scan the wildlife that's there, any type of plants, any resources which are on that planet, collect as much data as possible and then sell that data so that you can explore more planets and get more data and sell that for even more credits. The XP side of things will obviously rank up your character, and it feeds into a completely new system. XP that you're able to gain from completing various activities, and there will be a lot of activities within game which will reward you with XP, pretty much doing anything, but it'll all have varying degrees of how much XP you're able to get. For example, completing a very difficult mission whilst taking out loads of enemies will reward you a much higher amount of XP compared to you just taking down one creature that you end up finding on a planet, which may or may not even be hostile. The XP will feed into your character's rank, and every single time that you rank up, you will be rewarded with skill points. These skill points will then be used to unlock various skills within the game. But these skills will come under one of 5 different categories: physical, social, combat, science, or tech. What you go for and what you unlock here with the skill points that you're gifted is entirely up to you. I'm sure that there will be an overpowered way to play within game, because with any type of skill tree, there always is one which ends up being better than others. Likewise, there's always some which end up not being really worth the skill point that it costs. This, on top of everything else that we've gone through, will really shape your character. Having a certain background with certain traits, with the way that you want to play, as in your playstyle, and the skills that you apply to your character as time goes on, will give you a completely different playthrough compared to what you would do if you were to restart your account and go for different options, and likewise what your friends and other people that you may know will also be going through when playing Starfield. But sticking to the subject of skills, we can even take this one step further, because unlocking a skill is one thing, but there's also a progression system for you to make these skills even better. When you first use your initial skill point to unlock the skill, you will be able to do that skill, but it will be somewhat weak. It's better than nothing, but it's still not the best of what it could be. The way in which you improve these skills is by ranking them up, and there's a total of 4 ranks for every single skill within the game. And the way in which you rank them up is by using that skill. For example, under the social category, there is an intimidation skill. This is where you're able to force NPC characters to flee the scene if you need them to. Now, once you first unlock this, you'll be able to go and use this skill. But in order for you to rank this up, you'll need to force an NPC at or below your level to flee for a very limited time. And you'll need to do this 5 times. Completing this will give you the rank 2 version of that skill. At rank 2, you'll then need to do this again, but now you'll need to do it on NPCs which have 10 levels higher than you, and you'll need to do it 25 times. At rank 3, you'll need to do it again, but now you'll need to do it for NPCs which are 20 levels higher than you, and you'll need to do it 50 times. And by completing this, you've then unlocked rank 4. There is no higher level to this, so that you have the maximum efficiency of this skill. Intimidated targets will now flee for a substantial amount of time. Now, we already know about the intimidation skill because it was included as part of Starfield Direct, and they did use this one as an example. With other skills, we're only going off what's already been revealed so far, and not every single rank has been shown. But for ones which have already been revealed, and there are articles out there which list what has been revealed so far, you could assume that whatever you have to do within the rank 1 version to get this skill will just be a harder version of that exact same requirement for rank 2, rank 3, rank 4. So we can start to guess what type of challenges will already be put in place. With these skills, of course, the game isn't out yet, so we can't actually say which one's going to be best, but it's safe to say that the one that's going to be best is the one that does feed into your playstyle. If you're someone that doesn't really go into dialogue or don't like dialogue within this type of game, then it's not best to go and take those which require you to select extra dialogue options. Maybe you're someone that's a bit more in the face of your enemies and you want to go in all guns blazing. Well, you should start to look at the skills under physical or even combat. This will improve that playstyle, and it's more likely that you'll be using these skills in order for you to rank them up and become even more overpowered. As you continue to go through this game, improving your character with credits, XP, story progression, being able to unlock skills and then rank those skills up, you're going to be able to go to locations that you wouldn't have been able to do from the very beginning. And this will allow you to scan better planets so that you can sell that data for more money, and you'll also be able to find resources at a much higher level. These resources will then be used to create outposts, even be sold on so that you can get extra credits if you wish to do so, and then upgrade your ship through the ship customization option, which would then allow you to visit even more planets, as hopefully you'll improve your grav drive and you can jump to stars much further away. Based on titles that Bethesda have pushed before, the path that you take really comes down to the progression that you will see. You could be someone that does just focus on the main story, not worry about the grind, don't really care about the credits or the XP and unlocking skill points. But on the other hand, you could also be someone that doesn't really worry about the story in itself, you just want to go out there and explore. You want to actually go through the grind, you want to get credits, you want to get XP, you want to unlock various skill points. With this, the choice is all yours. And the character that you ultimately end up creating with the skills that they have will likely have a journey, a story, which is so much different compared to anyone else. And that is something that I'm excited to see. If you enjoyed this video, then I highly recommend clicking our next video. We talked a bit about it briefly within this one, where we talked about character creation, but things can go a hell of a lot deeper. So if you're interested, click that video and we'll be over there to guide you through absolutely everything.